Hello, champions of the world. Well, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. My name is Tyler, and this is my first ever YouTube video, so I'm extremely excited. This channel will be about inspiration, motivation, lifestyle, so vlogging, traveling, food, and then also spiritual. And spiritual to me means working on the inside and outward. So today's video, like the title says, is going to be about mental health, mental dieting, and let's just jump right into it. So today we're going to talk about mental dieting and doing a mental detox. There are so many people that look after the foods that they put into their bodies and even going on a food diet and also a detox a few times a year. But we neglect the brain, the mental health side of this, right? It goes the same way. If you are looking after the foods, what you put into your body, you should be doing that with your brain and your thinking and your mind. Just don't allow any negative thought to come in and not do anything about it. So I'm going to give you a lot of tips and tricks on how I stay positive, and also how, if any thoughts of negativity come in, how I can just easily brush it off and move forward with my day and my life. So first one is being self-aware. This is very important, especially when you're first starting out. You want to be self-aware of your thinking. When you're alone, when you're with people, just really be cautious of how you're thinking throughout the day. So if negative thoughts are coming up, the second step would be to now replace them. Replace them with a positive. Don't just leave them hanging. A negative thought comes up and now you're self-aware of it. Now you actually want to replace it. Replace it with something positive. So if negative thinking or negative thoughts come up, replace it, and now that's all I can say is replace it. Replace it with something positive in the way of the negative thought. But change the thinking habits, right? You have eating habits, and when you go on a diet, it's really hard at first. You have to now look at ingredients. You have to look at things that you eat. You have to be aware of it, right? That's step one, be self-aware. Now step two would be to replace the bad food with the good food. Same thing with your thinking. Replace the bad with the good thinking. Next thing would be pay attention to your vocabulary and your speech pattern. Everyone has a vocabulary that they've throughout life just included in their lives over time. It's become now a pattern and a habit. So now you want to look at your actual speech and what you're saying, because a lot of the times you can easily hear someone say something negative and think, oh, especially when you're now starting off and you're being a little bit more self-aware, you can think, ooh, that's a negative thought, that's a negative person. We all see that on a day-to-day basis, but we have to do that to ourselves as well and think, what am I saying out loud to other people? What rats am I putting in someone else's head that are negative or just off-putting? What am I saying out loud? So now look at your vocabulary and your speech pattern, because if you got your thinking down, now you can get your speech and your vocabulary down. That's the next step. So evaluate that. If you see yourself do it, you don't have to say it out loud and say, oh my God, I'm so negative, or, just cancel it and say, you know what, that wasn't right for me to say. Let me say it this way. Let me say it in a more positive way, right? You want to come off more positive, more uplifting, because if it starts as thoughts, it'll become your speech and your vocabulary, right? And then, then the next steps, it manifests in your life, and it starts to carry out in your life. It starts to show up in different places and people. The next thing I can tell you is turning good into bad, right? So don't look at the situation as always bad necessarily, right? If you're going out, if you're on a diet and someone's saying, let's go eat, let's go out to eat, and it's not a place that you want because it's not going with your diet necessarily, you could still say, okay, yeah, this will be fun, and I can make good choices at the restaurant. Order a water, get a salad over a burger, or you can now make decisions on any situation. So if any situation comes up, whether it's the worst thing that's ever happened in your life, a bad situation, or just that it's a situation that doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth. You can always find something good about each situation. You can always dissect the situation and think really hard. And if you can't find something, this is what I've learned, is if you can't find something good about it, you'll probably learn a really good lesson about the bad thing, and then it'll turn out really good. So always, I would say, don't prejudge the situation, and now look for the good in it. That goes hand in hand with the way you think. Negative thoughts versus positive thoughts. Situation comes up, how can I now think a positive route into the situation and out of the situation or through the situation, right? So that's a big, big, big tip, is looking at everything as good. Don't prejudge. Look at something and think, you know what? This looks to be bad right now in this situation, but I'm optimistic, I'm open-minded, and this could turn out positive. This can turn out to be one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And now be in the track of thinking positive and think, what good can come from this? Let's see, let's evaluate, right? If I'm looking for gold and I'm, what is it called? That little shaker thing, and you pick up the dirt and you look for gold in the river and the sand, and you're looking for gold. Do you know how much dirt you go through just to find a little nugget or even little grains of gold? You go through so much dirt just to find the smallest amount of gold. And you could utilize that in your real life. You go through so much dirt to find a little bit of gold, but that gold makes all the dirt worth it, doesn't it?
Good kind of day. Oh, that is. Pick it up, man. Pick it up. Found a nugget. I'm shaking. I found a nugget. Show us the nugget. Oh, there it is. And give us that beautiful sound. It's a good day today.
If you go 80% of your day thinking negative thoughts, you will go 80 years. If you live 100, 80 years of your life will be negative. That's something to think about, right? And vice versa. If you think positive 80% of the day, you will go 80 years of your life thinking positive thoughts. The 80-20 rule with eating. I'll eat 80% healthy, 20% of the time I will snack on my favorite foods, my favorite beverages. It's the same thing with your thinking. If you think 80% positive, happy thoughts, those 20%, when those thoughts come up or a situation comes up and you're feeling those negative thoughts and feeling those negative emotions, you can now think clearer. You can now move through situations with ease and a lot better. So I hope you learned something for my first video. I hope you learned something. I hope you took away with something. Even go and rewatch this video. Sometimes I hear things and I'm like, this is good information, but I don't know what the heck they just said. So rewatch it, learn something. You might hear something different the second time or third time. Rewatch it. Please subscribe to my channel and let me know down below. Keep the discussion going. Any questions that you have about this, let me know down below. And also subscribe. Let me know also what you would like to see next. I have a list of things that I would like to record and tell you guys about, but I would like to hear what you guys want to say and want to hear, so please let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.